Hello, hello, hello. David B here, and you are listening to the IDK WTF I'm Doing podcast. Thanks for tuning in to part 2 of Anastasia and mine's travel episode. We had an awesome couple of weeks going from Mexico City to a random underground cave in someone's backyard, the Chichen Itza, to lounging on some 5-star beaches. Listen all the way to the end because we're actually giving away a chance to book a complimentary call with one of us, as well as $100 in restaurant coupons. Thanks again for listening, and remember that whomever you are my favorite person. I do think the resorts are nice for someone who hasn't traveled much like myself. This is a wonderful entry
Right.
point. It's so cozy. Like, we can come back here, it's very safe, and then we can
True.
go out and explore. But that's like a nice safe home base to come back to. Where if I was uncomfortable the entire trip, and not knowing what was happening, especially if I had picked everything on my own, just kind of guessing, not being able to communicate, getting lost because the street signs are way freaking different out here.
Yeah.
It would be it'd be pretty miserable for me. However, growth lies on the other side of discomfort, and it would be a very growing experience. But, this was a good first one for me.
I keep forgetting this is your first international, true trip.
Yeah.
And you don't seem to... I keep forgetting that because you don't seem like you're discomforted in that way.
I mean, have you seen the pool?
True. It's pretty magnificent. But no, you
even in
seem...
Mexico City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just pretty mellow and I take things as they go. But without Audrey, I would be pretty miserable, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sad to hear that. Well, maybe your next trip should be Europe. It's a little bit more similar to America in that sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
Getting used to things.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway.
I've got to learn sometime, right?
Right.
I mean, the goal is just now I'm going to learn how to speak Spanish.
Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah. What was Turkey like for you?
Turkey?
Yeah. Do they
In
speak
the
English
sense
in
of...
Turkey?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Have you traveled anywhere they don't speak English?
English is the language of, it's that language everyone learns around the world, so it's really hard not to find someone who doesn't know English.
Okay.
Actually, no, in Cuba, actually.
Okay.
We had, excuse me, in Cuba, there was less people who knew English. There was some, okay, because some are told they need to learn English because tourism is happening.
Right.
And still, you have people from around the world who do speak English, like Australians and Brits, that were able to go to Cuba at the time, before America opened up to Cuba.
Okay.
But in Cuba, you do have less of that. You have more people speaking Russian than you do speaking English, which was very interesting.
That is interesting.
But because I think I met maybe 2 people that knew some English. Yeah, Cuba is really good friends with Russia because of the communist sides of things. And when Kennedy was the whole Cuban Missile Crisis, that shut things down with Cuba. So they didn't get anything from America and vice versa for decades.
Right.
And now that they recently opened up, more Americans have been going, hence myself and a few friends. It's been 3-4 years ago. And we didn't meet a lot of people that spoke English, which was great for me, but they speak Spanish, so I can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And we actually were traveling with a gal, her name is Stephanie, and her mother is Hispanic, so she knew Spanish.
Okay.
So that was nice.
Okay.
But would I have been fine? Yeah, because it's Spanish. If I was going somewhere where they speak Swahili, I think I would be in a little bit more trouble, you know. But again, if I have my dictionary with me, I like my wits and my dictionary to get me where I'm going, but I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Turkey was really simple. They're very slow paced, very chill.
Okay.
And in Istanbul, of course, everyone knows English, but we were being placed in places because it was a full tour.
Okay.
Like tour bus. We had our own tour bus. We had our own tour guide. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And he was always available to translate if needed. So I never felt stuck.
Right.
But we also were in areas where they already knew English too.
Yeah. I think it's amazing the people who just grab a backpack and they're like, drop me off in the middle of wherever of Mexico, and I'm just gonna walk all across South America. And I'm like, it's mind blowing. It's got to be an amazing experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not quite there yet.
Well, I think I actually had a little bit, now that I think back on it, it's been a long time. When I was in Cyprus, I was doing an abroad program in Cyprus, big island between Turkey and Egypt in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of the country, the capital. Now, granted, it was occupied by the British for a long time because they literally had pounds for currency rather than euros.
Yeah.
And at the time, now they're euros. This is how old I am. So I'm there. And of course, most people speak Greek and they don't speak English.
Okay.
So I stayed in a hostel where the landowner, he was Greek and he didn't speak any English. Then there was the soldiers across the street who were at the Green Line. If you don't know anything about Cyprus, look that up. And they spoke only Greek, no English.
Okay.
Like the Euro guy that I went to every day, or gyro for those Americans out there. He didn't speak any English. Like I was never around anyone who spoke English until I was with my teachers or my other students.
Had you studied Greek? Did you know any Greek
not
words?
at all.
No. Okay.
Like I knew enough Spanish to kind of understand the Latin origins and then hence part of the Greek origins of it.
Yeah.
But like penta, that means 5.
Right.
I think that's all I remember. Like that's all I remember. So it's similar to Spanish in that way that I was able to kind of understand stuff. But yeah, when I was there, I really tried to learn Greek, and I was doing pretty well. It's been so long that I haven't used it and forget everything. But it was nice because I was there for 3 months, toured all around that country, and again, I think it really depends on how you approach things too. Because like, it also depends on who you are. Yeah. I'm a cute little white girl.
Right.
So I can get away with a lot of shit.
Right.
And people usually tend to be nice to me.
Yeah.
If you're a tall, big, strong black man, that may be very different.
Right.
You know what I mean? So at least in Cyprus, they think you're probably actually from Africa, not America.
Yeah.
So it just totally depends on who you are and how it is.
I think that's a factor here too, because I'm a tan guy.
Yeah.
With long hair, and a lot of people will look at me and think I speak Spanish, and then I don't, and I think they're kind of irritated with me, right? And that could just mean me self.
Like, but do you really?
This might be me being insecure, and they don't care at all. But, but it's definitely like, I don't know. I think people are softer with women, and
Usually.
there's more leeway on like a language barrier.
Maybe.
But here with Mexico, what I've found as well, like what I find is crazy is how nice everyone really is. And they're very, they like just conversing, even if it's someone, because everyone here works for tips basically.
Yeah.
So even if they can't help you, they're not just doing it for a tip.
Yeah.
They're just actually being genuinely helpful. Kind of like...
which I learned as well.
Yeah.
Because I've traveled around and, there's pros and cons. There's privileges with being a little white girl. And then there's disadvantages with being a little white girl.
Right.
So privileges is being the white side of me. Okay.
And everyone wants to sell you something.
Oh, well, the advantages is I don't usually get targeted for certain things. But because I am white, I get targeted because they think I'm rich.
Right.
Or they think I have money. Or I'm just easy to find in the crowd, you know?
Like the craziest part, right? So we're driving in Mexican traffic in Mexico City, cars everywhere.
Yeah.
And the first one, we were at a stoplight. And so we've got the driver, he's like our taxi driver. We've got just a car full of people. Again, just like reminds me
Too many people, not enough seatbelts.
Yeah. Childhood in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Like kids in the back with another person.
In the trunk.
4 people in the back seat.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
And then I see a guy on a scooter drive up next to the car, and he's like, hey, and everyone's like having their conversations in the car.
And I'm in the front seat, I remember.
Yeah.
Next to a full-on Mexican, but darker skinned Mexican too.
Yeah.
So it's like you got a white blonde girl and a dark hair, dark skinned guy.
Yeah.
So easy to spot.
Yeah, and so the driver, like, so he's trying to get the attention. The driver rolls down the window. He's like, hey, my friend, how's it going? And the guy in the Vespa is like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And I have no idea what they're saying. And they're talking for like
a good while.
Like after the light turns and they're still driving.
They're just like following each other.
And then he was like, okay, thank you. And they, like,
Move on.
went away. And I asked Audrey, I was like, what were they talking about? And she was in the back with the kids, so she didn't even notice it happening because it was just so normal. And we found out he was trying to sell us a tour of the city.
Yeah.
Because assumably they saw Anastasia in the front seat and they were like, oh, you need a tour. But he didn't just say, no, we don't want what you want or what you're selling.
Yeah, or go away or leave me alone.
Yeah. He had a full conversation, and this happened 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Within about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No joke.
And each time he's equally nice.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing to me. You know?
Well, Audrey's the same way.
She is the same way.
Because I think it's really part of the culture.
Yeah.
You're going to get approached a lot, whether you're white or not, but you're going to get approached a lot. And that, you know, I get targeted by being approached because I'm usually not the same looks as everyone else. And so I remember in Morocco, for example, which is probably some of the worst of it than especially here, where you literally have kids who have like an object and they just like right in your face and they're just like, buy it, please. And like so there's 20 of them at the same time.
Yeah.
Great way to pickpocket too. But it's seriously, it's like that sometimes, that people just hoard up to you and try to sell you things. And so you really get tunnel vision. You just leave me alone, go away. But what I'm learning here, and we talked about this, is that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can build relationships.
Absolutely.
Quickly.
Yeah.
By just engaging a little bit.
Just
And language is a
short
barrier.
Or even if it's not building a language, they'll teach you something or
Yeah.
tell you like, hey, by the way, you should go check out this thing. Or hey, by the way, a storm is coming tonight. Or hey, by the way, like Audrey learned with her Mexican passport, she can get she can get discounts on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And every person that we stopped and talked to has been very helpful.
Yeah.
And it's never been a swindle or, you know, whatever that you may assume.
Yeah. It's just they want to help.
Right. But I do understand the frustration of just getting barraged all the time. But since that experience on day 2, which has been a great primer to this trip, I've been very much less tunnel vision and more like engaging.
Yeah.
And it's been nice. They actually leave me alone a lot faster.
So like, we can't talk to
I'm
her
like,
very well.
well, you know, just say hola, you know, buenos dias, being all nice. I say no me gusta.
Yeah.
And they leave. And then I was like, that was great.
Yeah.
So it's actually been very pleasant. So to anyone who's listening who had these experiences, just know, and again, this is the Mexican experience, but just know that, you know, sometimes engaging nicely usually helps better than just having the tunnel vision.
Yeah, and I think it's just so American because we're always in a hurry. We're so
Which is true.
rushed. We have something to do, somewhere to get. I'm always running late for something. So I'm like, especially like the guys in the mall, right? The center kiosks. Just like, go away.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and they're always approaching you. Well, here people stand outside of their businesses and they try to get you to come in. And that's actually more common around the world than not.
Yeah.
But, and, you know, they're just gonna be like, come on in, have a drink, have something to eat.
And so actually I think that's one of the big reasons I was so frustrated with the sales presentation here is because not only are they okay with you not buying something that I found in Mexico because you're just talking to them for a second. There's no like expectation like, hey, you're going to give me money, right? They're just having the conversation. And so the sales presentation, the final guy, he's like the big manager, the hard closer.
The director of some kind,
Yeah.
the hard closer.
He was offended that I didn't give him my money.
Because you didn't say no earlier?
No, even if I had said no earlier, because I was just the fact that I was sitting there, he expected me to say yes, and it was like, I was just a paycheck to him. I wasn't a person, right? And that feeling was probably amplified by the fact that everyone else has been so nice.
Yeah.
Right?
True. A lot of people were asking me, how are you going to travel to Mexico during COVID? How are you going to do this during COVID? How are you going to be safe during COVID? And I got to say, I said this in my own personal blogging this morning.
Yeah.
I actually feel safer on the plane, on the car, on the bus, whatever, at the resort especially, and even in the cities in Mexico than anywhere else in the United States I've been
Yeah.
during the last year.
Tell us why. I already know, but yeah.
So I am from a very right-wing side of the mountains in Colorado, and these people are wonderful people, but they are very much in disagreement with the whole COVID rules, and they are abiding to the rules. They just bitch about it.
Right.
But they only abide by the rules to the point that they can get so far, right?
Yeah.
Have to wear masks in buildings in order to be served, things like that. They are not wearing masks outside or around crowds outside, things like that, right? Even in cities like Denver, Philadelphia, even California, like this is everywhere. Okay, it's not just a small town. But, and it can be frustrating in some ways. Then coming here, we're walking the streets of Mexico City, we're walking the streets in, for me, Tulum and everywhere else, and people are wearing masks no matter what, outside and inside,
and a lot of face shields.
A lot of face shields, which has been very interesting.
Yeah.
Here it's kind of cool. They got like a mask face shield and then a face shield, so you can see their face, and it's kind of cool.
So we can, because that was my big frustration. I read lips as people talk.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to hear people because of the mask.
I can't see the lips.
And then you're like, there's a language barrier and I can't hear you. Like, I don't know what you said.
So they've got the clear facing up, the mask facing down, so it's completely contained.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It is really cool. But it's just, it's this, I hate to, I know a lot of people are going to be mad about this, but, so
and this is how we got canceled.
But I said this years ago when I went to Japan. Okay, that's a time where COVID wasn't happening. This is years ago, and people who get sick in Asia, if they're feeling a cough like I am now, don't worry, I'm tested negative, but they will wear masks when they're at work and so on. You don't get people in the United States and most of Europe who wear masks just even when they're feeling not great and they go to work or school.
Yeah.
So I found that to be very respectful because you're not getting anyone else sick.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. I mean, can you imagine kindergartners actually wearing masks when they're feeling sick or under the weather?
Yeah,
like, that would be wonderful.
Having it be normal.
Right? So don't take it home. So it's been very safe and it's been really great, and I actually feel safer traveling than I do it back at home.
At every entrance to every building, they squirt your hand with hand sanitizer.
And they make your shoes sanitized.
Yep, they've got a shoe sanitizer.
Sometimes they'll spray you down and your luggage down. Yeah.
Everywhere. So they took our luggage when we first entered anywhere, wiped everything down. They wiped the handle before they touch it. They wiped
even
the
car
keys down,
keys.
the car keys,
everything.
It's so, and so the staff is all very clean. They've cleaned everything we've touched and brought into here.
Yeah.
They've cleaned us. So walking around the resort, it's fine. We know pretty much everyone got, well, maybe not tested before being here. But
so that's the only concern, I guess, is that not everybody leaving the United States needs to be tested. Coming back into the States, you need to be tested.
Yeah.
So, but you also need to sign a form when you're getting onto Volaris, which is a Mexican airline, because we flew in to Mexico on Volaris.
Both were Volaris.
But going from Mexico City to Cancun, we took Volaris as well. And they required us to say, yes, we know we don't have COVID, or we're pretty sure we don't have COVID. We're not showing signs of COVID.
Right.
We didn't have to take a test. But to get back to the States, we have to be tested. And the hotels actually cover the services. We just pay the fee for the test.
Yeah. That's the big thing. So I think traveling is very doable. Just taking some basic precautions.
Yeah. Well, some things also are not fully open.
Oh yeah, a lot isn't open.
So being patient and being okay with that is key. Chichen Itza, open. Tulum, open.
But there was also like no one at Chichen Itza.
Which is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no one. There's no one on these beaches. It's just so
no one on
empty.
the beaches. No one's like there's people, but it's not nothing compared to what it usually would be, especially at this time.
Yeah.
So like going to even Mexico City. If you're somebody who just looks to go and party wherever you're going, this is not the time for you to travel.
Yeah.
But if you want to go see the sights and experience parts of the culture and really get to see the history, this is like your time to go.
Yeah.
The only thing that we have not really been able to do is to go to the Anthropology Museum and then go to the actual pyramids near Mexico City. We were able to do, which honestly, I'm kind of glad what we did because, I mean, going to the pyramids would have been great, but we also went to Chichen Itza, which is kind of a good compromise.
Chichen Itza was incredible.
It was absolutely
Let's check out those photos and videos, guys, because they were awesome.
Specifically mine, because
rude. Grosero.
Grosero. Just kidding.
I learned that one.
I was there. Anyway,
cool.
the travel industry has a lot to work on, and I think now is a great time for them to work on it because it's not heavily saturated in travel. So if they have the budgeting, they really can make this so much more seamless.
And actually, so I think that's one big thing that Vidara has taken advantage of, because they've modeled their resorts very Las Vegas style, so that you never have to leave everything here. The kids are happy. You can send them off to do other stuff. Just totally taken care of. But they've been improving. So like they added Cirque du Soleil. They added a whole water park here.
Yeah.
You know. So, and I think they're taking advantage of the downtime.
Because it will come back.
It is going to come back.
It is going to come back. And it's going to come back with, you know, a burning desire and fury, I feel like.
Yeah. Revenge travel.
Revenge travel.
That's
Maybe that's what my website or my channel should be. Revenge travel.
Oh, we should look at that.
Maybe.
RevengeTravel.com.
Don't take it before we do it, please.
Yeah.
Revenge travel. There you go. Because I'm traveling because I'm so mad at the world and being locked down.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it.
I love it.
So do travel. If you're thinking about being in the travel industry, David actually has a way to train people, because you actually train travel agents also, because even though you're young in the travel agent world, you're very savvy in terms of systems and processes.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. So you train travel agents to do better in those areas.
I teach them how to be actual business owners.
Right.
Right. Where that's, I think, the other big flaw is that travel agents never get business training. They get some product training, they get some archaic systems, this is how you use this website, but they don't know how to market, they don't get trained on how to present themselves, they don't get trained on how to like actually create a functional self-operating business.
Or even loopholes and awesome deals that are out there. So you were really good at finding those things.
Yeah.
Because we're looking, and we haven't gotten it yet, but we are looking at going to Xcaret, which is Xcerate. Xcaret.
Sure.
So, amusement park here.
Yeah.
And near Tulum. And you were looking into it through the back office. And you're like, we can get this kind of discount, and he gets commission based off of his money he would use too.
The ticket I buy myself.
Yeah, you would get commission off of it, so it's discounted. And then you could also do like an inspection tour, which gives you like access to the whole park, which also could potentially give you access and to more discounts.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's really cool with these familiar trips or familiar inspections or tours you can get. But you're able to find those things because you're a travel agent and you have that mind of systems and processes and being able to puzzle this stuff together.
Yeah. And so this is what I'm going to be teaching people how to do very quickly and efficiently. Get their agency get set up, get them looking like a real travel agency, and then teach them how to be a real travel agent.
Right.
Faster, more fun, and better than anyone else out there. Boom.
Boom, just like that. So if you guys are interested in becoming a travel agent, do click on the link below to David's website, which is
travelagentsco.com. So travel agents with an S, co.com.
travelagentsco.com.
So if you're looking for a change of career, you want just kind of another part-time gig, or you're looking to just really take advantage of working in the travel industry, because it has better benefits than any other industry out there.
Right.
Or you want to just grow and develop as a person through travel, this is the best time in our entire life to do it.
Right.
Because it's going to be very profitable, it's going to explode. It's quiet now so we can learn it without all that stress. And then in a few months when it does boom, we're ready. And that's my goal, is to have an agency full of trained agents ready to take advantage of the coming wave of travel.
So if a travel agent were to go to this website, fill out your application, and say, I want to have a conversation, see how this would work for me, and they joined, what are the things they're really going to learn from you?
how to be a business owner. And so the host agency has their own websites and systems, but they're pretty outdated.
Right, 90s style.
Yeah, so I teach people how to set up their own current website with their own branding, get them trained on all the compliance. We get them trained on setting up a business, getting a bank account.
For a very small cost, too.
Yeah,
like
everything's
you're
super
just
cheap.
you're just paying for the website portion. You're just paying for
Yeah.
being the travel agent. They're not being like, hey David, here's thousands of dollars, $10,000, $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
to
not
start a
doing
new
that.
company.
No,
Yeah.
this is something that's very, very affordable, especially in COVID.
Yeah.
So if you guys are interested, check out the link below at travelagentsco.com. And you'll see David's website where you can fill out an application and he'll look it over to see if it's a good match for you guys to have a conversation to see if this industry is for you. And the cool thing is that I'm sure the first step he could do is to help you get the 4-day stay at the resort like this in Mexico.
Yeah. And that's my goal, actually, is everyone new comes in. Like, I want to have them book their first thing, and then the entire agency goes.
Well, that'd be really cool.
And so we have, like, this huge, fun trips
like every 6
time.
months or so. That'd be really fun.
Or more.
Or more. Or every month. You're
Or
like,
every month.
Or every week.
Or-
Just kidding. You're just going to live here.
Maybe. You don't know.
All right, guys. Well, that is our episode IDK WTF podcast.
Feel free to check out our beacons.
We're going to go enjoy Mexico.
Yeah. And you are my favorite person,
Bye.
whoever you are.
Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of I Don't Know What the Fuck I'm Doing podcast.
We can't do this without you, and to reward you for your support, we would like to invite you to something unique.
Go to beacons.ai/IDKWTF to schedule a complimentary 15-minute phone call with one of us.
You can also find the link in the description.
We're here to brainstorm with you on different solutions for your business or life.
We want to hear your feedback about our podcast, or even just schedule some time to say hi.
Not only that, but anyone who chats with us will get a voucher for $100 in restaurant coupons.
Schedule some time today, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.